Welcome to my channel about Reddit. I got replaced by a dog when I was 16. My mother was entering menopause and just lost it. I was a good kid, good grades, good friends, never went out late, did whatever she told me, but one day she starts screaming at me that she wished I was never born. She never missed an opportunity to tell me I ruined her life. She screamed at me when I helped her because I was patronizing her. She screamed when I didn't help her because I was mocking her. She woke me up at night to tell me she should have aborted me. I had no idea what was going on. Then one day she tells me that she knows we haven't been getting along. I think she's about to apologize, but no. She says that she doesn't know what happened between us, but it can never be fixed. Even if she throws all her effort into mending the rift, all she'll accomplish is getting attached to me just in time for me to move out and abandon her forever in 2 years. I tried to tell her that we could be cool again if she just stopped shaking me awake at night to tell me I should be dead, and that it wasn't like turning 18 meant I'd never speak to her again, but she insisted that it would take exactly 2 years to repair the damage and I would never speak to her again. She reasoned that the only fair thing to do was to cut her losses now and replace me with a dog. She would leave food for me because she felt obligated to, but I was to help her by pretending not to exist. It would soften the blow when I finally left her to die. I thought she was joking or at the very least suffering a sudden bout of delusion, but she followed through. She bought a dog, this mean little poodle mix, and began training it to bite me. Not intentionally, but she did it nonetheless. When she came home, she would literally shove me out of the way when I opened the door for her and snatch up the dog to go sit with him on the couch. After that, she wouldn't move so as not to break contact with the dog. She would break her laugh_with_me doesn't exist rule to ask me to fetch things for her, but when I approached her, the dog would become violent. Rather than being upset by this behavior, she'd clap and squeal and drown the dog in affection, claiming it was her little knight, ready to fight to defend her. This made the dog less than shy about taking a bite out of me. If I refused to approach, she'd scream at me, which seemed to give the dog the go-ahead to attack. It would launch off her lap, squealing an enraged little war cry, and chase me from the room. This delighted my mother, who felt that the dog was punishing me for my disobedience and hurting me toward whatever I'd been refusing to fetch. In her mind, the dog was the enforcer. One day the dog bit me when I brought her a glass of water. Bad. Blood went everywhere. I demanded she punish it. She cried and told me that the dog wouldn't understand if she punished it and would hate her for no reason, just like I did. I told her I was tired of being bitten. Punish the dog. She sniffled and walked up to it, choked back a sob, wagged a finger and called it naughty, then explained to it that she still loved him and please not to hate her. Then she started jamming steakums down its throat. It traumatized her, but she stopped asking me to bring her things. The dog was visibly upset by my presence and would often mark his territory all over my things. If my bag was out, it was soiled. If I threw my robe over the arm of the chair, soiled. If I sat on the couch for a long time and got up, I'd return to a giant deuce on the cushion. I thought I could solve this by simply throwing my things in my room and closing the door while I was gone, but for some reason, all my things still smelled like outhouse. Some reason, indeed. I was at school, the dog would go to my door and begin crying, and my mother, who couldn't stand to see the little beast upset, would let him in and watch him relieve himself all over me room. Then she'd scoop it up and wash my sheets. I did not find out until she complained about how many times she'd had to wash my bedding. The worst incident was the morning the dog tried to commit suicide. I biked to school, so I generally woke up, threw my things together, ate, and took off. I got up and saw my mom sitting on the couch, glassy-eyed, clutching the dog. I set my backpack against the fridge, assembled a lunch and left it on the counter, then sat down with my back to the kitchen to eat breakfast. I heard a strange noise and turned around to see my mom watching quietly as the dog urinated all over my bag. I grabbed the bag and quickly dumped it out on the kitchen porch and began repacking my narrowly saved books into another bag. I turned to face the kitchen and saw the dog had gotten onto the counter and torn up my lunch and was now gulping down my breakfast frantically, still under the passive eye of my mother. I threw the dog onto the second-story balcony and broke down. I just wanted to know why she didn't even try to stop the dog. Now I was going to have to leave and not eat until I got home. Why couldn't she have just hugged the dog? She couldn't have just cuddled it a little to prevent it from behaving that way? Did I really mean that little to her? She seemed to realize at least that I was upset and she should do something, so she offered to drive me to school so I could repack lunch and eat breakfast. It was the most recognition I had gotten in weeks. I thought things would get better. Nope. I get ready for school and we open the door to find the dog, whimpering and sitting up waving his broken toenails at us. He jumped off the second story and was waiting for us at the door. My mom screamed and scooped him up, bowling past me to the car. My school was right next to the vet's, but guess if she stopped to let me into the car? Nope. Peeled out and left me there. I got on my bike and headed out. I missed the first period. The dog was fine. The icing on the cake was that the school called my mother when I was late, and she told them that she didn't know why I'd skip school. I'd been heading out the door on time last she saw me. The dog's and my mother's terrible behavior continued escalating, and eventually I gave the dog to a friend. My mom was equal parts pissed and heartbroken, but slowly came out of it once the dog was gone. It seemed kind of like she was in some sort of bad relationship with the dog, where each partner enables the worst in the other. We started talking civilly again, and even though she knew where the dog was, she refused to ever go see it again. It played out just like a bad breakup. The dog was much happier and healthier, too. I still hate the little shit. It's been 14 years.